You know, I don't talk about it much, but in about 20, 24 years, that thing up there, it's going to be pretty crazy down here. It's one of the reasons I drive fast. You know, when Ben Davidson and I started, developing the suspicious observers and the whole disaster cycle and the whole idea that there's every 12,000 years a huge solar event, a micronova event. One of the things I realized was, it was curious to me that it was about a year or two after, I started working with Ben that I found dry fasting. And here's where this comes in. I want to survive. I want to survive the next 24, 26 years to that event because it's one of these once in 12,000 year events. The end of Atlantis, the end of the ancient Egyptian empire. All this stuff that you're not going to be there unless you're healthy enough to be there. And that's where dry fasting comes in. Because it restores stem cells, restores your rejuvenation, rejuvenates yourself, makes you young again, that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm sitting at 66 at 71, according to my, metabolic age. So if I keep doing this, I could be 65, 64, 63, in my late 50s. By the time this thing hits, I'll be able to chase around and get out of the way. It's funny too, because we pretty much are sure this is happening. The reason Apollo went to the moon was not to get moon rocks, it was to get moon glass. Look at this video.
Don't step right there, Charlie. There's a splatter, glass splatter. Oh yeah, I see it. A whole big bubble of it in it. Yeah. Is that on? Yeah, that got it. Thank you. Beautiful. One of which is some interesting black glass along the sides of it. Another which is covered with black glass, and made a little glass beads all over the place here, John.
Switches to the alternate position. Okay, let me see what that
is. It's a glass, but in the sunlight, it's reflecting red, green, like a rainbow. No, I guess it was just black glass, but it was the way the sun was reflected off of it. That's too bad.
Yeah, the amps.
Anyway.
And you can see what I'm talking about. They wanted to show that the sun goes into these nova events and splatters the moon with these glass bits. They found them on Mars. This is a real deal. And this is where dry fasting comes in. Sure, I want to be healthy. Sure, I want to live longer. Sure, I want all this good stuff. But I want to survive long enough to see this thing. When it happens, it should be a little terrifying because it's going to happen 8 minutes after it happens. It takes 8 minutes to get from the sun to the earth. But what'll happen first is the sun will go dark and dark red because as that outer shell is being blown off, it's going to be dark, like an eclipse. But as it dissipates, as it goes further out of the solar system, that star is going to be hot, man. This is why there's melted quartz statuary in ancient Egypt, crushed and all kinds of broken, huge monuments in ancient Egypt because of the events at the time and after this thing occurs. So there's another reason to dry fast, y'all. It's one of those things where I want to be able to be young enough to run around, find a place to hide, because maybe 5-6 hours after the sun goes dark, it's going to get very, very bright around here. And after that happens, you got to be inside until at least you get to the dark side during the night side. And on the night side, you got about 8 to 10 hours to find some place for the dawn because it's going to be cooking hot. Caves, underground, whatever. But that's one of the best reasons, along with just your general health. Let's say it doesn't happen. Let's say this thing doesn't occur and it's 200 years from now, but whatever. The next 20, 25 years, you're a lot healthier. You're not, being damaged by the stored toxins and all the other stuff that we have to deal with because you flush them out. You're eating right because you're reading the Genesis and you know what not to do and how to exercise and how to keep your bone density and your muscularity up because you won't be able to run away when the shit happens. Whether that or just in life. We are facing some difficult times ahead, as you know. So my suggestion is to dry fast for 2 reasons. One, you'll be healthier You'll be stronger, you'll stay young, have a young metabolism to kick out of the way, or you might just be around to watch the big event.